In today's episode, we're looking at 5 Karens who got mauled alive by wild animals. From a social media influencer who sabotaged her safety equipment, to a fitness enthusiast who believed she could outrun deadly predators. But first, let's start in India, where one tour became a feeding ground for tigers. It was July 15, 2016, when the Lawson family arrived at the remote Sundarbans National Park in West Bengal, India. The vast mangrove delta stretched endlessly before them, a maze of tidal channels and dense vegetation where the Ganges River meets the Bay of Bengal. Ancient mangrove trees rose from the brackish water, their aerial roots creating an impenetrable network. This UNESCO World Heritage Site harbored one of the world's most dangerous ecosystems, where saltwater crocodiles lurked beneath the surface and venomous snakes coiled in the canopy above. Genevieve Lawson, a 42-year-old real estate agent from London, had insisted on booking the most expensive boat tour package available. Known for her demanding personality and unwillingness to accept limitations, she had already berated their local guide, Ravi, multiple times during the morning briefing. Her husband, David, a 45-year-old investment banker, tried unsuccessfully to moderate her increasingly aggressive behavior. Their teenage children, Emma and Jake, watched uncomfortably as their mother dismissed every safety warning as unnecessary fear-mongering designed to limit their premium experience. Ravi, despite his 15 years of guiding experience in these treacherous waters, found himself intimidated by Genevieve's constant threats of negative reviews and demands for closer wildlife encounters. The motorboat had been equipped with safety barriers specifically to keep tourists safe from the apex predators that ruled this ancient domain. But Genevieve viewed these precautions as obstacles preventing her from capturing the authentic jungle photographs she demanded. The Sundarbans mangroves serve as the exclusive hunting ground for the world's largest population of Bengal tigers, apex predators that have adapted uniquely to this aquatic environment. Unlike their mainland cousins, these tigers are exceptional swimmers and have developed an unusual willingness to hunt humans in water. Weighing up to 400 pounds and measuring over 10 feet in length, these magnificent cats possess 4-inch canine teeth capable of crushing windpipes and delivering fatal wounds within seconds. Their distinctive orange coat with black stripes provides perfect camouflage among the dappled shadows of the mangrove forest, making them virtually invisible as they move silently through the water. During the afternoon tour, their boat approached a narrow channel where Ravi spotted fresh tiger tracks along the muddy shoreline. He immediately cut the engine and whispered for complete silence, explaining that a large male tiger had recently passed through the area. Despite his urgent warnings about remaining in the boat, Genevieve became frustrated with the distance and declared she needed closer photographs. Against all protests from her family and guide, Genevieve stepped over the safety barrier and lowered herself into the chest-deep channel water. The murky tidal water concealed her movements as she waded toward the mangrove shoreline, camera held high above her head. Unknown to the group, a massive 400-pound male Bengal tiger had been resting in the dense vegetation upstream and had detected their boat's engine minutes earlier. Sundarbans tigers are ambush predators that use water as their primary hunting medium, approaching prey with complete silence while swimming. This particular male had successfully killed humans before and recognized the splashing sounds of vulnerable prey entering his territory. The tiger slipped into the water upstream and began swimming toward Genevieve with only its eyes and nose visible above the surface. When Genevieve reached the muddy shoreline and began photographing tiger tracks, she remained completely unaware of the approaching predator. The tiger closed the final 20 feet underwater, using its powerful limbs to propel itself through the murky channel with deadly precision. The attack erupted from the water with explosive violence. The massive tiger surfaced directly behind Genevieve and immediately clamped its powerful jaws around her throat from behind. The 4-inch canine teeth punctured through her neck muscles and crushed her windpipe with over 1,000 pounds of bite force. The tiger's signature killing technique involves suffocating prey by crushing the throat, and the massive pressure collapsed her airway instantly. Genevieve's body went rigid as the tiger's teeth severed major blood vessels in her neck, causing massive internal bleeding. The predator's powerful forelimbs wrapped around her torso, while its hind legs found purchase on her lower body, holding her in an inescapable grip. The tiger then began its drowning technique, pulling her backward into deeper water while maintaining its crushing bite on her throat. The combination of crushed windpipe, severed arteries, and forced submersion proved fatal within 2 minutes. Genevieve's struggles ceased as blood loss and oxygen deprivation caused her to lose consciousness. The tiger continued holding her underwater for several more minutes before releasing the body and disappearing into the mangrove maze. Genevieve Lawson's story was a chilling reminder of how silently striped predators strike when overconfidence meets wild waters. For Tara Whitfield, it wasn't safety she sought, but the perfect underwater footage that took her one breath too deep. It was March 22nd, 2017, when Tara Whitfield arrived at the Neptune Islands off the coast of South Australia, one of the world's premier great white shark diving destinations. The remote rocky outcrops jutted from the Southern Ocean, surrounded by crystal-clear waters that plunged to depths of over 200 feet. These nutrient-rich waters served as a natural highway for migrating great whites, drawing the massive predators to hunt the abundant seal colonies. Tara Whitfield, a 38-year-old marine biology graduate student from Los Angeles, had booked the most expensive shark cage diving package available and immediately began making unreasonable demands. Known for her entitled attitude and belief that money could buy her anything, she had already berated Captain Steve Morrison and marine biologist Dr. Lisa Chen multiple times during the morning briefing. Her boyfriend, Brad Mitchell, watched uncomfortably as Tara screamed at the crew for what she called their pathetic safety restrictions. Captain Morrison, with 18 years of experience operating in these dangerous waters, had dealt with difficult clients before, but Tara's aggressive behavior and complete lack of empathy alarmed him. She repeatedly demanded that the protective cage be removed entirely, claiming she had paid premium prices and deserved unrestricted access to the sharks. When Dr. Lisa Chen attempted to explain the life-threatening dangers, Tara dismissed her as an incompetent employee who was clearly jealous of successful people. Tara had convinced herself that her graduate student status and expensive booking fee entitled her to special treatment. She threatened to destroy the company's reputation online and file lawsuits if the crew didn't provide her with the extreme experience she demanded. Her complete disregard for safety became evident when she suggested that crew members should enter the water first to test whether the sharks were dangerous. The waters around Neptune Islands hosted some of the largest great white sharks on Earth, apex predators that had ruled these seas for over 400 million years. These magnificent hunters can reach lengths of over 20 feet and weights exceeding 4,000 pounds, with massive triangular heads housing rows of razor-sharp serrated teeth. Each tooth measures up to 3 inches in length and is designed to slice through flesh and bone with devastating efficiency. Great whites possess the most powerful bite force of any living creature, capable of exerting over 4,000 pounds per square inch of crushing pressure. The crew had successfully attracted multiple great white sharks using a carefully prepared chum mixture. Among the responding predators was a massive 18-foot female, estimated to weigh over 4,000 pounds, that had been feeding aggressively on the bait. The enormous shark displayed classic hunting behaviors, circling the boat with calculated precision while investigating the steel diving cage. Before entering the water, Tara secretly loosened the connections on her diving regulator, planning to create a fake equipment malfunction that would justify exiting the protective cage. She believed she was clever enough to manipulate the situation to get the unrestricted shark access she felt entitled to. Once submerged in the protective cage, Tara immediately began signaling fake distress to the surface crew, pointing frantically at her sabotaged regulator. Captain Morrison initiated emergency procedures to bring her to the surface, but instead of ascending, Tara swam away from the cage toward the feeding sharks, believing her superior intelligence made her invulnerable. Her erratic swimming movements created the exact type of distressed prey behavior that triggers great white hunting instincts. The massive female great white detected Tara's panicked swimming immediately and abandoned the chum bait to investigate this new potential prey. The enormous predator approached from below at speeds exceeding 25 miles per hour. The shark's assault was swift and devastating. Rising from the depths like a living torpedo, the great white struck Tara from below with tremendous force, its massive jaws opening to reveal rows of gleaming serrated teeth. The impact drove Tara upward as the shark's jaws clamped down around her torso with bone-crushing pressure. The razor-sharp teeth sliced through her wetsuit and deep into her chest and abdomen. The The crushing bite force of 4,000 pounds per square inch shattered Tara's ribcage instantly, puncturing both lungs and severing major blood vessels throughout her torso. The shark's powerful jaw muscles continued applying pressure while its head thrashed violently from side to side, the signature feeding behavior that allows great whites to tear away large chunks of flesh. The violent shaking motion severed Tara's body at the waist, separating her upper and lower torso as massive amounts of blood clouded the surrounding water. The feeding behavior continued for several more seconds as the shark consumed portions of her body before disappearing into the depths. Tara died within seconds from massive blood loss, traumatic shock, and the complete destruction of vital organs. Her entitled belief that money and demands could override natural predator behavior had proven fatally wrong. The investigation revealed Tara's deliberate equipment sabotage and violation of safety protocols. Maritime authorities implemented stricter regulations for shark cage diving operations. Tara's family filed lawsuits against the tour company, displaying the same entitled attitude that had led to her death. For Tara Whitfield, it wasn't safety she sought, but the perfect underwater footage that took her one breath too deep. In Uganda, Kendra Sullivan approached rescued primates, believing her experience had prepared her for humanity's most dangerous relatives. It was September 8, 2015, when Kendra Sullivan arrived at Ngamba Island Chimpanzee Sanctuary in Uganda, a 100-acre forested island on Lake Victoria. The sanctuary served as a refuge for orphaned and rescued chimpanzees, providing a semi-natural environment where these intelligent primates could live in social groups. Dense tropical forest covered most of the island, with designated visitor areas and security barriers designed to ensure safety. Kendra Sullivan, a 35-year-old wildlife photographer from Portland, had been commissioned by a wildlife magazine to document rehabilitation work with rescued chimpanzees. Known for her fearless approach to animal photography, she had built her reputation capturing intimate portraits of domestic and farm animals. Her extensive experience with horses, cattle, and aggressive bulls led her to believe she possessed an innate understanding of animal behavior that transcended species boundaries. Her best friend Amy Chen, a documentary filmmaker, had accompanied Kendra to capture behind-the-scenes footage. Dr. James Mukasa, the sanctuary's director, grew increasingly concerned as Kendra dismissed his safety briefings and demanded access to restricted maintenance areas for better photographs. Peter Sally, a caretaker, repeatedly warned about the unpredictable nature of these powerful animals, but Kendra brushed off his concerns as overcautious superstition. The sanctuary housed 49 rescued chimpanzees, many traumatized by poaching or the illegal pet trade. Despite their rehabilitation, these animals retained all the instincts and physical capabilities of their wild counterparts, making them extremely dangerous when encountered without proper barriers. Chimpanzees are among the most powerful primates on Earth, possessing strength approximately 5 times greater than that of an adult human. Adult males can weigh up to 150 pounds and stand over 4 feet tall, with massive chest muscles and arms capable of exerting tremendous force. Their hands possess grip strength exceeding 1,300 pounds per square inch, enough to crush bones with ease. Most notably, chimpanzees possess large canine teeth over 2 inches long, designed for both defense and establishing dominance. During the afternoon tour, Kendra became increasingly frustrated with the viewing restrictions that prevented her from capturing authentic behavioral documentation. She had specifically requested access to maintenance areas where staff entered the enclosures for cleaning and medical care. Dr. Mukasa repeatedly explained that these areas were strictly off-limits due to the extreme danger posed by direct contact with the chimpanzees. While the group was observing chimpanzees in a distant enclosure, Kendra noticed an unlocked gate leading to a maintenance corridor that provided direct access to the animal's living area. Despite explicit warnings, she slipped away from the group and entered the restricted zone, believing her experience with domestic animals had prepared her for any situation. The maintenance area brought Kendra within direct reach of Bosco, the sanctuary's dominant male, a 150-pound adult who had been rescued as an infant 15 years earlier. Bosco had shown aggressive tendencies toward unfamiliar humans and was considered one of the most dangerous animals in the facility. The powerful chimpanzee was resting near the barrier when he detected Kendra's presence. Chimpanzees are highly territorial animals that view unfamiliar humans as potential threats. Bosco immediately became agitated by Kendra's intrusion into what he considered his territory. When she approached the barrier and raised her camera to photograph him, Bosco interpreted this action as a direct challenge to his dominance. The powerful primate's response was immediate and devastating. Bosco lunged forward and grabbed Kendra's extended arm with crushing force, his grip strength of 1,300 pounds per square inch immediately fracturing the bones in her forearm. Using his tremendous upper body strength, he pulled her against the barrier. Chimpanzees instinctively target specific areas during aggressive encounters, focusing on faces, hands, and genitals to inflict maximum damage. Bosco's massive canine teeth, over 2 inches long and razor-sharp, tore into Kendra's face and neck as she was pulled against the barrier. His powerful hands ripped at her clothing while his feet kicked violently at her torso. The attack continued for nearly 2 minutes as Bosco maintained his grip, while simultaneously biting and clawing at her face, neck, and upper body. His powerful jaws crushed facial bones and tore away large sections of skin and muscle. The chimpanzee's sharp teeth severed major blood vessels in her neck, causing massive bleeding. Kendra's attempts to defend herself proved futile against the chimpanzee's overwhelming strength. Her free hand was severely mutilated by Bosco's bites, with several fingers crushed by his powerful jaws. The coordinated nature of his attack prevented any possibility of escape. Peter Solly heard Kendra's screams and immediately rushed to the maintenance area with emergency intervention equipment. Using high-pressure water hoses, he managed to drive Bosco away from the barrier after nearly 2 minutes. By the time the chimpanzee retreated, Kendra had suffered catastrophic injuries to her face, neck, hands, and arms. The massive blood loss from severed arteries, combined with shock from her traumatic injuries, proved fatal within minutes. Kendra died from hypovolemic shock and facial trauma before emergency medical services could reach the remote island location. The investigation focused on security failures that allowed visitor access to restricted areas. The Ugandan Wildlife Authority implemented enhanced security measures, while Kendra's family filed lawsuits against the facility. For Kendra Sullivan, her confidence with domestic animals became fatal. In Florida's Everglades, attorney Monica Barrett demanded access to restricted waters, believing legal training could override deadly predators. It was April 14, 2018, when Monica Barrett arrived at Everglades National Park in Florida, one of the largest tropical wilderness areas in the United States. The vast wetland ecosystem stretched across 1.5 million acres of sawgrass marshes and shallow waterways that served as home to some of North America's most dangerous predators. The park's intricate network of channels created the perfect habitat for massive American alligators. Monica Barrett, a 44-year-old divorce attorney from Miami, had booked a solo kayak tour to clear her head after a difficult custody case. Known for her aggressive courtroom tactics and confrontational personality, she had built her legal career on intimidating opponents and refusing to back down from any challenge. Her reputation for getting her way through sheer force of will had created a dangerous sense of entitlement. Tommy Rodriguez, a 52-year-old tour guide with over 20 years of experience, had immediately recognized Monica as a problematic client during the morning safety briefing. She had interrupted his presentation multiple times, claiming her legal background made her smarter than some swamp guide, and had threatened to file lawsuits when he tried to enforce basic safety protocols. Park Ranger Sarah Kim had also attempted to explain the dangers of alligator nesting season, but Monica dismissed her warnings as government overreach. The timing of Monica's visit coincided with peak alligator breeding season, when territorial males become extremely aggressive and protective of their nesting areas. During this period, park officials typically restrict access to certain waterways and post warning signs throughout the most dangerous zones. American alligators are among North America's most formidable apex predators, with adult males reaching lengths of up to 14 feet and weights exceeding 1,000 pounds. These ancient reptiles possess one of the most powerful bite forces in the animal kingdom, capable of exerting over 3,000 pounds per square inch of crushing pressure. Their massive jaws contain 74 to 80 razor-sharp teeth designed for gripping and crushing prey. Alligators can remain motionless for hours before exploding into action with lightning speed. During the guided tour, Tommy repeatedly warned about staying within designated channels due to active alligator nesting season. The park had posted numerous warning signs around known nesting sites, where territorial males were guarding their offspring with deadly aggression. Monica became increasingly belligerent, accusing Tommy of limiting her constitutional rights and threatening legal action. Despite Tommy's attempts to maintain group cohesion, Monica broke away from the guided tour and paddled her kayak toward a restricted lagoon, clearly marked with multiple warning signs. She was determined to investigate what appeared to be interesting wildlife activity, claiming she had every right as a tax-paying citizen to explore any area of the national park. The restricted lagoon served as a primary nesting area for a massive 12-foot bull alligator that had been actively defending his territory for 3 weeks. The 800-pound reptile had established his dominance and had already driven off several smaller males. The presence of Monica's kayak immediately triggered the alligator's most aggressive defensive instincts. The bull alligator detected the vibrations from Monica's paddle strokes within seconds. The massive reptile had been resting motionless beneath the surface, perfectly camouflaged among the submerged vegetation. The alligator's attack was swift and devastating. The 800-pound predator launched itself from the water with explosive force, its massive jaws clamping down on the front section of Monica's kayak. The impact capsized her kayak instantly, throwing her into the murky water directly in front of the enraged reptile. As Monica struggled in the water, disoriented and panicked, the alligator immediately identified her as a threat to his nesting territory. The massive reptile's jaws found purchase on Monica's torso, his razor-sharp teeth puncturing through her life jacket and deep into her chest and abdomen. The crushing bite force shattered multiple ribs instantly while puncturing both lungs and severing major blood vessels. The alligator then began its signature killing technique known as the death roll, a violent spinning motion designed to disorient prey and cause massive internal trauma. The 800-pound reptile rotated rapidly in the water, spinning Monica's body while maintaining its crushing grip. The violent rotation generated a tremendous force that tore muscles and caused catastrophic internal injuries. The death roll continued for over a minute as the alligator spun through the water with Monica trapped in its jaws. The violent motion filled her punctured lungs with water, while the crushing pressure prevented any possibility of breathing. Her shattered ribs were ground against each other, causing additional internal bleeding. The combination of massive internal trauma, drowning, and blood loss proved fatal within 2 minutes. Monica's struggles gradually ceased as the alligator continued its death roll. The massive reptile eventually released her lifeless body, which floated to the surface. Tommy Rodriguez immediately radioed for emergency assistance, but rescue teams were unable to reach the remote lagoon in time. For Monica Barrett, her legal expertise proved worthless against nature's ancient laws. In Colorado, fitness influencer Felicity Grant was preparing for her ultimate solo adventure, believing her athletic training had prepared her for the continent's most powerful predator. It was August 19, 2017, when Felicity Grant arrived at Boulder County Open Space in Colorado, a vast wilderness area known for its rugged terrain and diverse wildlife population. The mountainous region stretched across thousands of acres of dense forest and winding trails that attracted outdoor enthusiasts. However, these same wilderness areas also served as prime habitat for mountain lions and other dangerous predators. Felicity Grant, a 39-year-old fitness influencer from Denver with over 5,000 social media followers, had planned what she called her ultimate wilderness transformation experience. Known for her entitled attitude and belief that her athletic superiority made her exempt from rules, she had already caused multiple confrontations at the park entrance. Her demanding personality became evident when she berated the teenage park attendant for suggesting she read safety guidelines, claiming someone of her fitness level didn't need advice from minimum wage employees. Park Ranger Tom Bradley had attempted to brief Felicity on recent mountain lion activity during her permit application process. The area had experienced multiple cougar sightings over the previous month, including aggressive encounters that resulted in temporary trail closures. Felicity became increasingly hostile, interrupting Tom repeatedly and demanding to speak to his supervisor about what she called his incompetent fear-mongering. Fellow hiker Maria Santos, a local trail runner, had also tried to warn Felicity about the dangers of solo hiking during dawn hours. Felicity's response was swift and cruel, telling Maria that jealous locals like her were obviously trying to sabotage successful influencers, who were clearly in better shape than pathetic weekend warriors. Felicity had specifically chosen the Rabbit Ears Pass trail for her solo dawn run, deliberately ignoring the trail closure signs that she claimed didn't apply to elite athletes like herself. She had torn down several warning notices, stating that taxpayers like her had every right to use public trails. Mountain lions are among North America's most efficient apex predators, perfectly adapted for hunting in mountainous terrain. Adult males can weigh up to 180 pounds and measure over 8 feet in length, with powerful hind legs capable of propelling them up to 40 feet in a single leap. Their retractable claws, measuring up to 4 inches in length, are designed for gripping prey, while their 4-inch canine teeth are perfectly positioned for delivering fatal neck bites that sever the spinal cord. These solitary hunters are primarily ambush predators that prefer to attack from behind and above, using incredible stealth and patience to get within striking distance before launching devastating surprise attacks. Mountain lions are particularly drawn to prey that exhibits erratic movement patterns, heavy breathing, or other signs of distress. Felicity began her solo trail run at 5:30 a.m., deliberately choosing the pre-dawn hours to avoid what she called inferior hikers. She wore noise-canceling headphones playing loud electronic music and carried a backpack containing raw steaks for her post-workout protein meal. The combination of her erratic running pattern, heavy breathing, and the scent of fresh meat created perfect conditions to attract a hunting mountain lion. A 140-pound male mountain lion had been actively hunting in the area and had established a territory that included the Rabbit Ears Pass trail. The powerful predator detected the scent of fresh meat from over a mile away and began tracking Felicity's movement through the forest. The cougar began stalking Felicity along the ridge above the trail, using rocks and trees to remain hidden while closing the distance. As Felicity rounded a sharp bend, the mountain lion positioned itself on a large boulder approximately 15 feet above the path. When Felicity passed below the boulder, completely unaware due to her loud music and arrogant belief that her fitness made her invulnerable, the mountain lion launched itself in a devastating aerial attack. The 140-pound predator struck Felicity from behind with tremendous force, his powerful hind claws raking down her back, while his front paws wrapped around her shoulders and neck. The mountain lion's 4-inch canine teeth immediately found their target, clamping down on the back of Felicity's neck with surgical precision. Mountain lions kill their prey through a specific technique that targets the cervical vertebrae, and this male executed the attack with deadly efficiency. His powerful jaws applied crushing pressure of over 400 pounds per square inch directly to Felicity's spinal cord, severing the connection between her brain and body instantly. The bite penetrated deep into the neck muscles and fractured the vertebrae, causing immediate paralysis from the neck down. The cougar maintained his grip on Felicity's neck while using his powerful claws to secure his position. His hind legs continued raking down her spine and legs, opening deep wounds that bled profusely. Within 2 minutes, Felicity had died from a combination of spinal cord severance, massive blood loss, and suffocation caused by the crushing pressure on her neck and throat. The mountain lion then began dragging her body off the main trail toward a secluded area where he could feed undisturbed. Felicity's body was discovered 3 days later by a search and rescue team organized when she failed to return. The discovery location and condition of the remains were consistent with a mountain lion attack and subsequent caching behavior. If these stories left you wanting more terrifying encounters, click the next video to see what happens when nature's deadliest predators meet their match.